Oh, hello, scholars. Dr. Ball here. Okay, so let's go over just some basic statistical stuff to help you with the concept of just calculating basic probabilities. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with is a 2x2 factor table, which we can see at the top of the screen here. And I made this up, but here's why we call it 2x2. I've got two categories, two columns, male and female, and I've got two rows, categories of school type, middle school and high school. So I've got 2x2. Totals is not considered part of that because we will routinely total things, but maybe not if you're testing something different. All right, so this is a 2x2 factor design. I've got two factors. I've got gender and school. Gender, two categories, male versus female. School, two types, middle school versus high school. Okay, 2x2 factor. So the first thing you need to know is how to read this. So if I want to know middle school males, it's 60. I go to male and middle school. Some of you are overcomplicating this. If I want to know total high school students, I just go to total high school students. Now, if I want to know what is the probability of being female out of my whole sample? So my entire sample is 425 students. Okay. What is the probability that I get a female student out of that sample? I got the total female students is 215, and I'm going to divide that by the total students. There's probability A. Okay. Remember that from the formulas? So probability female, probability A. What's the probability of grabbing a female? It's 50, almost 51%, 50.5%, 50.6%. Okay. Now, let's assume mutually exclusive independent events. So remember, what's the possibility that I get a female or a middle school student? These are exclusive, right? Okay, so female and middle school student. So I'm going to take middle school, likely female, right here. And I'm going to divide it by the total number of students. So I misspoke. It's not female or middle school. It's female and middle school. So if I want female and middle school, right here, 70, pulled it from this column. Okay, right there. And if I want to know the probability that they're both female and from middle school, then it's just total number of students. And I take that number 70 divided by total number of students. And I have a typo here. It's 0.1647. Okay. You see that? All right. Now let's try another one. What do I have here if I have a male in high school? What's the possibility that I pull a male in high school out of just high school students? Okay. So here's male in high school, and here's total number of high school students. Okay. Now, how did I know that? Well, does it make sense to go use total male with total amount of high school students? No, because some of those are middle school students and we don't need to consider those. We're not considering middle school at all here. We're looking at the males in high school. Okay. All right. What about if I have a middle school and male? Okay, so we're going to go up to the middle school line. Well, here's middle school males, and here's total in the middle school. So that's the likelihood that I get a male out of middle school. Okay. All right. Let's look at female or high school. Now, I caught on that some of you were using different methods to calculate this. Okay, so let's talk about it. Some of you simply used the additive law, which is going to be this right here. Okay. Some of you used this formula and you calculated it by hand. And what we had there was the probability of being female, which we calculated above, which is right here. So this is PA. The probability of B, high school, which is 0.65 right here, that number. All right. And then we have the probability of A and B. Okay. Which is calculated right here. Now I want to show you something. You don't need to remember all of these calculations. Okay. There's another way to calculate, and we can use a probability calculator. And the reason I'm showing you this is because this class isn't about you conducting the math by hand. When you research, you are going to be using software. You need to be aware of how things are calculated true. Okay, but you're going to be using software to calculate your stuff. This is called the p-value method. So you'll see on that paper, I had a link. I will post the paper with this. But look here, I got a probability calculator. Probability of A and B. So you had to know how to calculate that. That's why we went over the factorial table, the 2x2 table. You could have a 2x3 table too. We could add age groups on that or whatever. Then it's 2x3. But here, so we can take and we can put our probabilities in. So remember, let's go back and look. The probability of A was 0.5059. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in here, 0.5059. And I believe we said the probability of B was 0.65. So I'm going to double check that. We determined the probability of B was 0.65. Okay, now let me move this out of the way. Calculate. Look at that. All of these possible probabilities of just these two events that we can go ahead and consider. Look at that. It's all here. And if you're not sure, here's the chart with the circles on the side. Okay. So some of you did the probability of A and B both occurring. Some of you had done the probability in your homework that A or B both occur. I'll accept if you calculated it by hand and did the additive law. I will accept if you used a calculator. I will accept whatever. Okay. Personally, I was looking at the probability that A, B, or both occur. That's what I was looking at. That's how I interpreted what was on your homework. Remember, I didn't write your homework. Okay. But there it is. And you can scroll down and look, it shows you the math. So remember, I was showing you the math on the screen right here. This is right here. Same math that was on the drawing. It comes from my factor table. So what you need to know is how to read the factorial tables and select the right column, calculate the correct probability, which usually is something divided by the total. Okay. And then once you have those numbers, you can go ahead and use these calculators. I hope this offers you some assistance. There were a few of you that I said you could go ahead and redo your homework and submit to get a better grade. Please feel free to do so. Thank you.